recognizing Dr. Maurice Henderson. The Council of the City of Philadelphia is pleased and proud to join One Step Away in honoring and recognizing Dr. Maurice Henderson for his outstanding influence in the community. Whereas One Step Away in Philadelphia, First Street newspaper aimed at raising awareness of homelessness and providing employment to those in need. With each dollar received, 75% goes directly to the vendor. The other 25 cents covers the printing costs. The vendors are people experiencing homelessness or joblessness, while the vast majority of One Step Away vendors are living on the street or in temporary shelter.
Anybody ever heard of the Orangeburg Massacre? Anybody ever heard of the Virginia tax shooting?
Yes.
Or any shooting on the college or school campus? This was the first of its case in 1968, February 8th. 27 were injured, 3 were murdered. But the students who went to that school claimed that the number of injured was far more than was actually reported. On February 5th, a group of black students tried to go to a local bowling alley. The owner refused their service. They went back to their campus irate. They told a bunch of other students. The next day they returned to that bowling alley. But this time they were met by police and violence from the police. They again went back to their campus, which was South Carolina State College at the time. They rallied for 3 days. On the third day, they set a bonfire at the entrance of the college. The fire commissioner decided that he wanted to turn ties and put the fire out. He was escorted by a few police officers. When they got to the gate of the school, one of the police officers was hit in the face by a piece of banister. 15 minutes after that, 9 state troopers and 1 local police officer opened fire on a group of students with shotguns, rifles, and pistols for 8 to 10 seconds. That doesn't seem like a long time, but when you're getting shot at and there's nowhere else to go and you haven't been warned, 8 to 10 seconds is a lot of time. And it's not enough time to react responsibly. Many people were trampled. One student was even shot, but then paralyzed when he was trampled by his own students. One person was arrested that day, and it wasn't one of the officers. He was jailed for 27 years. 27 years later, he was pardoned for that crime.
Listen, we need peace in the streets, but not to be police. We need to teach, we need to speak, we need to eat, we need peace in the streets. Before we get that cheese, we gotta think, we need to think, we need to drink, we need peace in the streets. But it's gonna take change that lead to beef, but I'm prepared to succeed. We gotta practice what we preach on the beat, to see life outside of the streets. So for the real, I'ma squeeze. It ain't the crack, it ain't the gax, it ain't the blacks, it ain't even the crackers. It's the government frontin' with the cash trying to trap us, for trapping on the Ave with the crack that they packed us. Since day one, they've been the plan to distract us. From the back, you can stack no matter how much you lack. It's like I'm Dr. King, and that's K Mr. X. Living in the flesh, but we ain't done yet. We just getting started. So please don't get retarded. But I swear the people been there. But we ain't trying to leave your kids there. We bringing lots when we get there. That's right, it's life outside of these streets. Damn right we inside of these streets. You damn right we getting out of these streets. And we'll leave you deceased if you getting in the way of this peace. Come on. Need peace, y'all.
And then this mother says, somebody, save my baby. Save my baby. And I looked in the water, and there was a baby tossing and turning in the water. And the mother said, Mister, can you please save the baby? And I stepped out on faith. And I stepped into the water. And I grabbed that baby on the block. And the baby wasn't breathing. And I held that baby in my own arms and I said, come on, hey, breathe, breathe, breathe. Hey, God, God, God. And that baby started to breathe. And the mama passed out. So I'm on the block, standing in water. And all these mothers came out, saying, mister, can you save the babies? And I went in 2 times, 3 times, 4, and 5. Finally, I couldn't go no more. I couldn't save the babies. And nobody came because nobody knew. How shall I explain murder? Murder. You know, Black Lives Matter. They don't tell you about how when the Red Cross came, they didn't drop down food, they dropped down candy. When the National Guard came, they came by in boats empty and came back by us with dogs and cats. And nobody came because nobody knew. I saw my uncle's casket float past my house. I was standing on the 3rd floor of a house and the water was to my neck. And nobody came. Because nobody knew. How come they did not know? There was something. There was something in the water. And it's true. Some of them were white. Many were Latino migrant workers. But most of them were African Americans. I will fight no more for this country forever. I will fight no more for this country forever. I will fight no more for this country forever. Black Lives Matter.
Break down this. So they've been using our women against us all throughout history. For instance, after 18 hours of slavery, I come back to my living quarters to find my wife's missing. I hear yells from the field. Oh, Hezekiah, where your wife at? She out dead. She out where? She out scared because she spoke out. So now she out of line and now she outnumbered and she out her outfit and I'm outraged. But even if I try to protect her, the rope that's now tied to my neck will be hung from a tree and used to separate my spine from the pressure. See, this type of injustice was used all throughout history to try to injust us. But injustice I believe, and against injustice I will bleed. And if it's just us, I will lead back up to the top where we're supposed to be. Because this here, it ain't for us, and that's noticeable. We was made to be grown to lead, not hung from trees and shot down innocently on these streets. That's why this here ain't no home for me. They just continuously doing it so wrong.
They tell us kill them for the gas. We rather kill them for the block. No, they don't want us to stop. They just want us to ride for they side while they taxing the job. No, I'd rather grind and get high. That's what the teens say. I'd rather die getting high. That's what the fiends say. I'm on my job changing lives like I'm a sensei. But I'm a missionary, blessing as the beat play. See, for me, It was the slave ship. For you, it probably was the Holocaust, or maybe the World Trade, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, all the pain the same.
And Mama used to tell us stories. She used to tell us about how funerals got started. She said the master used to cut the man's penis off and cut off his head and put it on a chopping block and made all the slaves walk by and kiss the head. And that's how open casket funerals got started. After Mama told us that wasn't no good bad story, that was a horror story. We went straight to sleep. You know, it's strange. One night, Daddy was working late near the fields. I heard him yell out, "Josephine! Get the kids and go in the house. Get the kids and go in the house." And Mama said, John, what's wrong, John? What's wrong? Daddy kept saying, "Let's get the kids and go in the house. Get the kids and go in the house." But Mama wouldn't listen. So Mama ran down the walkway. And me and little Sally Ann, we followed. And when we got to the end of the walkway, there was all these men in white sheets. Two of them grabbed Daddy's arms and they tied his arms around the tree, while the other ones held on to Mama and me and my sister, little Sally Ann. When my daddy's arms was tied around the tree, they ripped off my daddy's shirt. And they began whipping him and whipping him. All I could see was my daddy's back. This little